Yo, just wanted to do a brief video. I'm running around doing errands and stuff. Yesterday was a crazy day. Did a lot of family stuff. This is going to be a super brief video. I say that all the time, probably lying. No, it's going to be brief, I promise. I just want to talk about like what being right means, you know, like inherently what I'm doing on this channel is I'm analyzing something, and so I'm trying to present the conclusions that I can come to, and there's a lot of talk about whether I'm right or wrong, and so I want to talk about being right or wrong. And like I say, it's not really the focus of the channel. The focus of the channel is to show you my thought process so that maybe you can learn something and add something to your thought process when you're analyzing a chart, right? But being right and being wrong is very subjective to the time frame that you are measuring it. And what I mean by that is, if you bought Bitcoin at 19,500 or whatever it peaked at when it was at its peak in 2017, right below 20,000, a Composite Man special, then you, in the short term, or maybe even if you, it depends on what you think a short term or medium term or whatever is, but in that next 3 or 4 years, you would have been wrong, because it was like December 19th, 2017, something like that. You would have been wrong when you bought it there. But if you would have never sold it until today, for example, you would have 3 times almost, like right now, I don't know, but at its peak, let's just say at its peak, just for the conversation, you would have had 3 times the value in US dollar terms, at least, in Bitcoin, if you would have just held and not sold. I mean, you would have been very resilient if you would have done that, admittedly. So what does that mean? So I guess what I'm trying to say is the point of reference that you use for being right is very important, right? Because if I say something can happen over the course of the next few weeks, and the opposite happens for the next few days, it doesn't make me right or wrong. So the way that you should be thinking about the market, it doesn't make me right or wrong until we find out, right? And even if I'm wrong on the timeline, that's why I try to stay away from the timeline thing a little bit more these days. I can still be wrong. I can be wrong time-wise, but I can be right in the grand scheme. Isn't that the case, right? So the way that I'm starting to see things is I want to focus more on positioning myself to where I don't need the timeline so much, right? I identify the pattern that I'm looking for, especially on larger scales, because those are probably the bigger moves eventually. And I don't worry too much about how long it's going to take, right? So I make sure I have a reasonable position where, yeah, if it goes up, it's great. But also if it goes down, it's okay too. Because I can be patient. Because if you see accumulation, you probably know that you're going to eventually be right on the long side. But if you put yourself on a timeline, like with options, or if you can't protect your downside, right? If it goes down and you get liquidated or something like that, then, well, you can be terribly wrong, can't you? But if you just hold it, you can only be so wrong, as long as eventually you're right in your original thesis. So hopefully this video helps you out with something. You can apply it to some sort of way that you view the market, and yeah, not think so much about being so right or wrong and trying to get rich quick or anything like that, but more focus on identifying what's going to make you right in the long term. All right, have a good day.